Welcome to the Explainer. Listen, we're diving straight into something that is just moving at absolute breakneck speed right now, the intersection of AI and real estate. Look, if you're a real estate pro, you already know the ground is shifting under your feet, but the sheer velocity of these recent rapid-fire AI developments, it's literally transforming how lead generation works. We're way past cool gimmicks here. We're talking about tangible, everyday tools saving agents literally hours a week while actively driving real business. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. Section 1 is Google's new lead machine. Section 2, smarter MLS and market data. Section 3 covers the open tab advantage. And finally, Section 4, the 2 workflow time saver. All right, starting off with Section 1, Google's new lead machine. So we're looking at a massive paradigm shift from Google. And honestly, it directly threatens the traditional agent model. Ask yourself right this second. Are your listings on Google missing your name? Because for a lot of agents right now, the terrifying answer is yes. The FOMO here is incredibly real. And to be honest, it's completely justified when you think about how many buyers kick off their entire search on Google. So here is the reality check. As of June 11th, Google drastically expanded its enhanced local services ads to all 50 states. And this is entirely powered by House Canary's Come Home MLS data. You really have to wrap your head around this. Google isn't just a generic search bar anymore where people type in a query to eventually find a portal. No, it is now a direct lead source sitting right there on the search results page. Let's break down how this actually looks. Your listings now show the price, photos, and key features directly inside those Google search results. But here's the kicker, the really absolutely crucial part. Buyers can now call, message, or book an appointment with you directly from that ad unit. Now, if you're already using local services ads, you're golden, you're auto-enrolled. But if you aren't, you need to sign up immediately, either through Google or a managed partner. Because remember, House Canary is already piping in this data through MLS licensing agreements. The properties are already there. If you haven't claimed your spot, your listing is sitting up there completely naked without your contact info attached. Moving right along to Section 2, smarter MLS and market data. Okay, so local market data and the platforms we use to slice it are getting this incredibly smart AI upgrade. And this brings us to a really fascinating new tool that ATTOM Data launched on June 9th called the Reezy Score. Basically, it assigns every single residential census tract a 1 to 100 percentile ranking, and that's based on projected home price appreciation over the next 24 months. Think about what this means. It effectively replaces that sort of gut feeling intuition with hard, quantifiable data. Imagine sitting across the table from a buyer and actually showing them a data-backed neighborhood momentum score to help them figure out where to buy. That's a total game changer for your value prop. So what's actually under the hood making this thing tick? Well, it crunches long-term price trends, recent appreciation, market acceleration, forecasted growth, and volatility. And these rankings are relative within each metro area, so it's hyper-localized to your specific market, not just some broad, vague national average. This whole capability was built directly on ATTOM's January 2026 acquisition of Resi shares, and you can get your hands on it right now through ATTOM Bulk Data and Snowflake. But hey, the upgrades aren't just happening in market forecasting. They are happening right inside the MLS itself. On June 9th, MetroList, which is Northern California's largest MLS, partnered up with Lundy to launch an AI assistant named Nora. This literally brings MLS-backed AI directly into the hands of agents. And guys, Nora is seriously impressive. It's purpose-built for agents who are constantly jumping across multiple platforms. It handles your email and calendar, it can answer those super dry MLS compliance questions, and it manages transactions entirely through natural language. But honestly, here's the best part. It searches property and market data and knocks out tasks in the background while you're busy actually talking to clients. It learns your workflows. And if you're a MetroList subscriber, the core features are completely free. It's an absolute no-brainer to go test this out this week. All right, let's pivot to Section 3, the open tab advantage. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the reality check it gives us on how top producers are actually using AI day to day. You might be surprised. Check out this data from a June 11th Inman Intel survey of about 435 real estate pros. A massive 75% of them are primarily using AI through completely free chat interfaces. We're talking ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. That means the absolute fastest, most immediate productivity wins are happening right there in an open browser tab, not buried in some complicated proprietary system. Why the free tier, though? Simply put, it's all about speed. 63% of agents rely on these free versions for instant quick wins. Writing listing descriptions, drafting buyer emails, handling leads. You type a prompt, boom, you get an answer. Meanwhile, enterprise brokerage AI, it often moves at a total snail's pace. It's expensive and it takes forever to build correctly. By the time a brokerage finally rolls out their shiny new tool, those free open tabs have already evolved like 3 steps further. Which really perfectly sets up this crucial pro tip from the report. Don't wait for your brokerage's AI platform. Your competitive edge is already one browser tab away. Look, a separate Delta Media survey from January 2026 actually showed that 97% of brokerage leaders say their agents are actively using AI. But the agents who are truly pulling ahead, they're the ones taking initiative right now with their own browsers. They aren't sitting around waiting for a corporate software rollout. And that brings us to our final part, Section 4, the 2 workflow time saver. Earlier, I promised to show you exactly how to reclaim lost hours of your week, and, well, here's where the rubber meets the road. 4 plus. That is the number of hours per week being saved by agents who are actually using AI the right way. According to an RPR 2026 agent survey, 34% of agents are saving more than 4 hours a week, and a whopping 71% say time savings is literally the #1 benefit of AI. Just think about that for a second. What on earth could you do with an extra half day every single week? Here's the secret, though. The agents who are really dominating aren't juggling a dozen different, overly complicated tools. They aren't stressed out by some bloated, expensive software stack. No, they rely on keeping it simple and consistent. They basically just run 2 very tight, highly specific workflows. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that stack looks like. Step 1, listing prep. You do this using those open tabs we talked about, like ChatGPT or Claude. Step 2, lead response. For this, you use integrated tools like Structurally or Follow Up Boss AI. By sticking to just these 2 steps, agents are literally slashing their listing prep from 45 minutes down to maybe 10 minutes. Let's look at how you actually execute workflow 1. You open up ChatGPT or Claude, you paste in your raw property details, and you use this exact prompt right here. Write an MLS listing description, 3 Instagram captions, and 1 email to my database. That's it. You save this template once and you reuse it every single time you land a new listing. It's a total one-and-done setup that knocks out a solid hour of marketing copy in, 10 seconds? Then we have workflow 2, which is all about handling your leads. When you connect an AI tool like Structurally or Follow Up Boss AI directly into your CRM, you are essentially putting your initial lead response on autopilot 24/7. The AI jumps in, responds to new leads within minutes, and actually qualifies them before you've even picked up your phone. The real-world impact of this? Teams using tools like Structurally consistently report a mind-blowing 233% lift in lead conversion. I mean, it's literally working and qualifying leads while you sleep. So look, we've covered the macro shifts happening with Google and MLS data, and the micro tools sitting right there on your desktop. The AI real estate revolution isn't on its way. It is already sitting right there in your browser tab. I seriously challenge you to implement Workflow 1 on your very next listing today, because those saved hours, they add up fast. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. What will you do with your extra 4 hours this week? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.